What is up, everyone? I am Mike Muhammad, and this is my first video of the year 2023. And today, I am going to be spoiling The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. At least by that, I mean I'm going to be spoiling the story, I'm going to be spoiling the gameplay. So, if you have no interest in hearing anything about The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom spoilers, I would recommend that you just leave this video right now. You will not find any screenshots or video from the game here. So, I'd like to preface this video with a little message to the Nintendo Ninjas. Hi, Nintendo Ninjas. I know you're out there. Y'all are the real MVPs. Y'all are working hard, man. Y'all are making sure that you take action against people actually leaking the game. So today, you will not find any screenshots, any videos of Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. This is just a video of me, some 30-something-year-old bald guy, talking about Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And, I haven't played the game. I haven't, I've just bought the game and I'm going to play it on launch day like everyone else. And if I happen to, in this video, start describing a variety of things that actually do happen in The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, that is purely coincidence, and you have no legal grounds against which to take any kind of action against me. So, thanks for watching, Nintendo Ninjas, and you can skim through this video, but there's nothing to see here, so bye, Nintendo Ninjas. And for everyone else still watching. So I have played The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom for about 10 hours now, and I'm not going to explain how I've done that. That's something you could probably figure out on your own, but I have played the game for about 10 hours or so. I've spent a lot of time in the leak threads online. You could probably figure out which websites I'm talking about as well. For certain reasons, you could probably figure out. I'm going to be purposefully cryptic in describing my sources here, but rest assured, everything I'm going to tell you is actual spoilers for The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And this is just going to be a verbal discussion of me. I'm not going to show actual screenshots or video for reasons you could probably guess. And I'm just going to be talking about the story because here's the thing, man. I see like a million videos on YouTube of people saying, warning, warning, the spoilers are out, the spoilers are out, Tears of the Kingdom is leaked. But I see like nothing actually giving like concrete information about the story. There's a few videos out there about spoiler information on the gameplay. Things such as, well, just to even start up the actual spoilers in this video now. Sorry for spending 3 minutes prefacing this video, but now let's get into the spoilers. Things like there actually being a complete underground map underneath Hyrule. Things such as, like, just the length of the game, the fact that there are, in fact, dungeons in the game. That sort of thing. So I have seen a few gameplay leaks come out about, things about, like, the Ultra Hand recreatability, where you can recreate things that you've made with Ultra Hand. So, I've seen a couple people make videos about those gameplay leaks, but there is no real discussion on story spoilers. So, for those people who want a video about story spoilers, here it is. It's just me talking about it. I can't show any kind of screenshots or videos, but I'm going to explain the story of The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom. And I think the best way to do that is by explaining the fate of the Master Sword. Now, we all see in these trailers the Master Sword has been decayed. How it got that way and what happens to it is sort of the entire crux of the story, the main plot of this game, I should say. But to explain all of that, I think maybe the best way is to start with even before the story begins. So, before Breath of the Wild, before Zelda fought Calamity Ganon 100 years ago, before the Great Calamity 10,000 years ago that happened, before all of those things, before all of those things, long ago, there were the Zonai, and one of the Zonai was Rauru. If you've seen this goat-looking guy, the guy with very long ears, he's the guy depicted in the ancient kind of drawings, being surrounded by the tears and such. That figure with the very long ears, who appears to be with someone who looks like Zelda, that is a Zonai. So the Zonai sort of have two forms, where they kind of look like goats, but they also have the ability, they have draconic powers as well. And they have the ability to become dragons. So the Zonai built all this crazy technology with stuff like Ultra Hand, with stuff like with time reversal, all this kind of stuff. And they had their old civilization back then. But basically, the founding of Hyrule was a princess named Sonia. If you've seen this character, she's sort of a tanned, blonde woman, looks similar to Zelda, but clearly has a different face. And she has her own kind of ancient outfit as well. So that's Sonia. And basically, the foundation of Hyrule was through the marriage of Rauru and Princess Sonia. And they founded the Kingdom of Hyrule together. So, it's canon now, guys. Hylian women love goats. It's canon now. Hylian women love goats. The first king of Hyrule was literally a goat guy, a Zonai, and the first queen was a Hylian girl who just loved goats, man. Goat/dragons, because the Zonai are. It's very hard to explain what it is without showing, but basically they looked like goats. They could transform into dragons. They could reverse time. They had the Ultra Hand ability to build all this crazy technology. They had Zonaite, which is like a material they use in crafting things. So there's all these things to the Zonai. But this is, again, long before the first Calamity. This is long before all of that. This is the foundation of Hyrule. And at that time, they fought Ganondorf and imprisoned him. So, understanding that that was the foundation of Hyrule, the royal family of Hyrule still has the blood of the Zonai in them. The royal family of Hyrule is essentially a mix of Zonai and Hylian blood. And that's kind of how Zelda is. Zelda is part Zonai as well. Rauru's Zonai blood flows through her. So now that we've kind of established the foundation of Hyrule and who Rauru and Sonia are, then I guess we can go on to what actually happens at the beginning of Tears of the Kingdom. So I'm going to assume the people watching know the story of Breath of the Wild. Link wakes up, Zelda tells him to go get the Master Sword and fight Calamity Ganon. We've played this game, we love this game. Okay. So 7 or so years after last, I don't know if they've ever specified how much time. It seems like it's been 7 years. Pearl's gone from being this little girl like this to being a full-grown woman now. And yeah, so time has definitely passed in Hyrule. And in the beginning, Zelda wants to explore the underneath of Hyrule. Because over there is this red gloom, the malice. It's been coming up from the depths of Hyrule Castle and making people who come into contact with it become deathly ill. So Zelda wants to find the source of this, and this leads to Link and Zelda discovering all this Zonai architecture. They find the Zonai drawings that we've seen in the trailers and promotional art for this game, and they find it under Hyrule Castle. Then they go a little deeper, and they eventually find the mummified Ganondorf being held in place by the Zonai arm that's actually the arm of Rauru, the first king of Hyrule, who was also a Zonai. So that's the source of the right arm. In fact, they literally, when they introduce Rauru's character, they don't introduce him as the first king of Hyrule. They're just like, this is the source of Link's right arm. So then we go through the sequence where Ganondorf wakes up and kind of this tear, one of the tears of the kingdom falls off, and then Zelda picks it up. This is the recall tear. It actually sends you back in time. But it doesn't activate until Ganondorf gets up, and Ganondorf kind of starts attacking Zelda and Link. Link tries to defend Zelda, but then you see kind of the full health bar of Link. You start the game with like a huge health bar, and you just sort of see all those hearts melt away as Link is attacked with the they call it gloom, but Zelda fans have been used to calling Ganon's energy like malice, so whatever you want to call it, gloom or malice, the red stuff. So Ganondorf's red stuff starts depleting Link's hearts, and then he tries to defend himself with the Master Sword, but then the Master Sword starts rotting too. And Ganondorf starts like taunting them, like, is that weak blade that supposedly seals the darkness and all that stuff? And he starts making the castle rise up into the sky. And yeah, like, pretty much, so Link has just gone down to only 3 hearts, which is how you start the game, and the Master Sword is completely just decayed and crapped out. And that's where we see the iconic scene from the trailer where Zelda falls down into the chasm, and Link reaches out to her with the Zonai arm, but it's not enough. And what you don't see in the trailers is when Zelda falls, she suddenly just disappears into like this golden light. That's the power of recall. So let's start with what happens to Link. Link wakes up days later. He's lost most of his clothes and stuff, and he's lost all his parts, and he has a decayed Master Sword. He starts hearing the voice of Rauru guiding him. Rauru is honestly a lot like how King Bosphoramus Hyrule was in Breath of the Wild, kind of guiding you through the intro area. And the intro area here is the Great Sky Island. And the Great Sky Island has all these Zonai constructs that you kind of help to train with. You go through a few opening shrines, and this is where you get the abilities Ultra Hand, Fuse, Recall, and Ascend. So you go through all that, and eventually Rauru introduces himself to you, and he eventually disappears, kind of how the ghost of Bosphoramus Hyrule disappeared. And then Link finds this like golden light and hears the voice of Zelda, and he decides to put the Master Sword into the golden light. And then the Master Sword kind of disappears into the golden light. And this was kind of the moment where the game it lets you loose now. It lets you go explore the open world at this point after you've acquired all those abilities and given away the Master Sword to Zelda. Now, what happened to Zelda? Zelda got sent back in time to the foundation of Hyrule. And over there, she reaches out to Link and asks for him to give her the Master Sword. Now, so Zelda ends up meeting her ancestors in the past and learning the truth about the Hylian royal family, and she learns too that she's a dragon. So using recall or just the Zonai time powers in general, she kind of has the Master Sword transmitted through time from Link to her. And again, she's like 100,000 years in the past at the foundation of Hyrule. So the Master Sword literally travels backwards through time, the same way that Zelda did when she fell down into the chasm. So from this point, this is where shit gets weird, man. Zelda takes the Master Sword and transforms herself into a dragon. And in this dragon form, the Master Sword is embedded into her forehead. But again, she's a dragon, so she's this massive flying creature, and she just has the Master Sword embedded in her head. And what happens is Zelda lives as a dragon for 100,000 years, or however long it was from the foundation of Hyrule up to the time when Tears of the Kingdom starts. Zelda spends this massive amount of time living as a dragon, flying through the sky, waiting for Link to go through all the dungeons, and eventually you have to search for her in the sky, find Zelda, land on her, and pull out the Master Sword. So, really, it's kind of apparent why Nintendo was so secretive about this, because they really thought really outside of the box with Zelda going back in time, transforming into a dragon, and basically her living as a dragon for all that time is what helps to restore the Master Sword back to its original state so that Link can eventually wield it and go fight Ganondorf. And that to me I just thought was crazy, because there's literally a scene where Link is hearing the voice of Zelda and she eventually tells him, Link, you must find me. And it just sounds so weird when she says that. It's like, what do you mean you must find me? So you're here in the current time? It seems mysterious, but she is in the current time as a dragon. And in fact, when Zelda says, Link, you must find me, the dragon version of Zelda flies right past. In fact, I find it amazing that the title screen in this game, as Link is falling into the Sky Islands for the first time, it literally says The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom, and you see Dragon Zelda flying in the background. So the game is repeatedly showing you Dragon Zelda with the Master Sword embedded in her forehead, but it doesn't actually, like, explicitly say it. You have to find out through memories and going through the main quests. But man, it's just like such a prestige moment of like, holy shit, that's where the Master Sword is. And it's just this kind of thing where this is why I had to make this video, man, because it's like I can't really talk to anyone about this. So the only people I can make this video for are people who, again, are as interested in the spoilers for this game as I am. So it's a funny situation, really. But yeah, that's kind of how you have to go through the dungeons, and you have a companion character each time you go. And this game is not like Breath of the Wild. You cannot just start from the opening area and go fight Ganon. You actually have to go through all the main quests of the game, get the Master Sword, complete the dungeons, and then you go fight Ganondorf. That's the only way you can do it. I've actually found a way to fast track to Hyrule Castle as soon as you get the glider, but you cannot really beat the game like that. So, and also to pull the Master Sword, you need an extra stamina wheel, and you kind of need more than 10 hearts to complete one of the final dungeons. So, really, this is a much more. It's like open ended in the way Breath of the Wild was, but also at the same time, it's not as open ended in terms of completing the game. You have to go through the main quests. You have to find Dragon Zelda and pull the Master Sword. You have to do the main dungeons with the companion characters. And after you do all that, then you can go fight Ganon. Or Ganondorf, I should say, in this case. Who does have multiple forms. He has a form that's kind of like Demise, and he also has a dragon form. So there's multiple forms of Ganondorf in this game. And yeah, man, that's the basic gist of what I want to get out. To me, the biggest prestige of this game is just the way they hid the Master Sword from you. I think is just It's a stroke of brilliance that like only Nintendo would think of, man. So, yeah, man. That's me spoiling Tears of the Kingdom. All this stuff is real, but again, you have no proof of it that I've played this game at all. I'm just telling you the truth. There's no screenshots here, there's no videos here. It's just me talking about it. You cannot say that I have shown something from this game that I wasn't supposed to. I'm just verbally talking. And whether what I'm saying here is true or not, well, you'll find out after the game comes out, won't you? Anyways, I'm Mike Muhammad. Thanks for watching. And honestly, Tears of the Kingdom is one hell of a game. It's incredible, and honestly, I don't think the world is ready for this game. Thanks for watching, those of you who wanted to know the spoilers. I'll see you guys next time.